Greetings. So, as you can see by this tiny little tuft of greenery and probably my Sula, I am in a tropical environment. I'm on a vacation with my family, and the idea is to be able to finish as many of the books that I force myself to fit into a single personal item as I possibly can. So last night I finished God of the Woods. I don't know what psychological disorder this is a symptom of, but whenever I notice myself having a little bit too much fun reading a particular book, I will start scrolling through Reddit, scrolling through Goodreads, trying to find every little discussion, any little tidbit of information about other people's opinions as I possibly can. And this always, always results in me being spoiled and the book being completely ruined. I don't know, it was a self-sabotage, um, self-harm, maybe. But I did spoil the ending for myself. So I knew the entire time, sort of like the main mystery thread that was supposed to be unveiled at the end. But you know what? I still like the ending. I'm not gonna lie. I had so much fun forcing myself to finish it last night. And yeah, I did tear up. Sue me. I teared up at the end. Today's task is to choose something else from this little stack that I have here. First, I have Outer Dark. There, I think, is a movie in the works with Jacob Elordi. I need to finish this and consume the story while it's still fresh, virginal from his ginormous, deformed, long body. Next, this very beautiful copy of The Go-Between by L.P. Hartley. I've had this for 2 summers now, and I always stare at it, read the first line. First line is so beautiful, and then I kind of see the tiny font and I change my mind. But this time, next option, The Mars Room, Rachel Kushner. Now, this is not something I would have ever even heard of or picked up, but Rachel Kushner came into my job, the bookstore I work. Yeah, I work in a bookstore. Her aura was just so indescribable that it made me pick up and buy instantly the only copy of Flamethrowers that we had that she signed, and I freaking loved it. It was so, I don't know, but I loved it. I love her freaking writing, and the blurb for this sounds even more interesting than Flamethrowers, so I'm really excited. Last but not least, everyone's New York Times #1 favorite, My Brilliant Friend. This has been on my radar, obviously, because, well, I feel like it's on everybody's radar. Everybody who's a sheep that cares about New York Times top lists, as I unfortunately do. But you know what? I don't know. Something about 2 teenage girls having a tumultuous friendship sounds really exciting to me. And I feel like this is the least mentally taxing out of all of these because it is so hot that I can barely read the SPF number on the sunscreen that I'm using. My goal, #1 goal, is that by the time the plane lands back in New York, these will all be complete. I don't know. My physical TBR is getting really out of hand, guys, and I feel like I need to get as much of it, like, I need to be free of as much of it as possible before school starts again. And then I won't be able to read as much. So I'm trying to really punish myself for shopping so much. And my punishment is enjoying some amazing literature. I'm going to choose one of these. I'm going to sit by the pool, probably swim, and I don't know, enjoy my freaking vacation, my tropical Florida vacation. Yeah. I'm cozy. So, as you could probably discern from the clips that I included from yesterday, I didn't get a lot of reading done. I've been reading Her. Yesterday I think I only got to like page 40 or 50, and I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like I was forcing myself through it a little bit, because when you're like in the sun having fun, it's really hard to immerse yourself in these like dark Cormac McCarthy aesthetics. Yeah, I'm trying to speak softly because everyone in the house is asleep right now. Night owl things. I feel like with Cormac McCarthy's writing, you have to really be attentive to every single word. God of the Woods, I was like, just like, bleh. Like drool coming out of my mouth, just tap, 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 tapping. Literally, once you start, you can't stop. The atmosphere, this is the one writer where I genuinely find it hard to believe that this is one human's imagination that is able to put this together. Like, not even just the idea for the story or the setting or time period or anything, just like, I can't even explain it, like the aesthetics of what's happening. He's just awesome, bro. Even at 50 pages in, you can feel this like eerie, dark momentum building towards something. I read a lot by the pool today. Well, I tried. The weather is like high 90s here, and I don't have a high tolerance for temperatures that are not normal. So it's really hard for me to find like a good position. Once I find a good position, I start overheating. Things starts getting dark for me. I feel like I'm being tortured. So I had to read it like in the floating in a noodle, holding the book up in the pool a lot. And let's just say a lot of things went wrong. And as you can see, as evidence, this like, well, you can't really see at the top, and the bottom's a little worse. It's literally all like, you can tell where I'm at even without the bookmark, because the pages are all completely water damaged, which sucks because it took me a while to hunt down this specific copy, like the older vintage edition with this cover on the front and the side. I'm looking at my little sister reading The Love Hypothesis on her Kindle, and yes, I'm getting FOMO because I also kind of want to be reading a fun romance. I think I'm on page 102, and there's like 240 pages in this, I think. I really, really, really want to finish this by tomorrow.
Let's go. Там полно.
Look, doesn't it just look so magical and tropical? It took me more days than I expected to finish Outer Dark here, because I had a medical accident, and unfortunately reading just does not feel fun when your skin feels like it's peeling off. I had to go at a pace of roughly 40 pages a day for the past like 2 days. But today I read, I think, over half of it in one sitting. Upon finishing it, I feel like I just left a completely different reality. I was picturing Jacob Lordy by accident. I tried really hard not to, guys. Like, I really tried really hard not to. But once that face is just inserted into that character, there's just really nothing else you can do. So that momentum from the beginning just kept building and building, but like slowly, but you can just feel something simmering, and these different plot lines, not knowing how they're going to end up all connecting, but that moment where they're not quite connecting, but like skimming past each other, if that makes sense. I don't know. If you read the book, you probably know what I mean. Feels like you're reading this. Awesome. But yeah, now that I'm completely free, I did for a moment consider abandoning this entire challenge and just going with some fun romances. But the idea of reading a romance is a lot more fun to me right now than actually reading a romance. I don't know. I started it and I'm just not feeling it. Hope that's okay with you guys. Next, I think I'm going to go with the go between, just because I feel like if I don't read it on this trip, I'm not going to read it until next summer. But it is really giving me a summery vibe, I think, my idea of it.
I just wanna be.
Since it was cozy, rainy weather, I tried to go to this cute little bookstore in our neighborhood. Advertised on Google Maps as a used bookstore, so I was hoping to walk around and explore some used trinkets and books, maybe walk away with something I just couldn't help myself buying. I already knew it was going to be a fail, but there was a lot of cute little rainbow dolphin plushies. We're back in the tuft where it all began. Truly face my demons. I cheated when I started the go between. I just really wasn't feeling that type of style. English countryside. Um, just wasn't giving. It wasn't giving. So I read like 20 pages before bed, put it down, closed my eyes, didn't think about it again when I woke up. I realized at the end of the day, reading is a hobby and it's all about fun, guys. It really is. So why am I sitting here forcing myself to read this bullshit just because I packed it?
It's not bullshit.
That's one lesson I learned. Just pick something fun. Just choose something easy and fun. So next year, I'll try to remember that. I started Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter, which I've had my eye on for a while. It was just a whole big disaster. I don't know if I'm the first person to say this, but Lynn Painter's style really just does not translate to adult romance. As I was reading it, it just felt so juvenile, like the inner monologues of the characters. And then the two POV idea was horrible because his monologue was like, hold on, let me check my notes. Yeah, around like the halfway point, I really just started fading out of the consciousness of this story. Because I read better than the movies, and I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of my favorite romances ever. So I was really excited, but jokes about, I don't know, whatever the fuck she was making jokes about and better than the movies aren't funny when it's 30-year-olds. There was this one scene, oh god, it was so bad, where there's a scorpion in their hotel room. and she's scared, and he like literally describes how he's scared but he has to look brave and like protect her because she's just so cute from the scorpion, evil scorpion. Like, oh my god, bro, what the fuck am I reading? Towards the end, it really started feeling like I was reading a parody of a romance instead of a romance, but it wasn't a parody, it was real. So just imagine that. So we're back. This is the penultimate day of this entire vacation. I've only read one of the 4 books that I've set out to, but you know what, guys? I'm determined. We're not going to walk away from this as a complete failure. Not if I can help it. I'll keep you guys posted. Don't even worry. Don't even worry. Fun's over. Time to pack. How is this supposed to fit in this? Holy shit. This is like completely destroyed. The story of me and my brilliant friend is that I have these 2 male coworkers. Actually, I'm pretty sure all my male coworkers that have tried to read this and didn't like it. Whoa, my hair. And I was always determined that it's because it's about girls. So I have this like additional element breathing down my shoulder of I'm determined to enjoy this just to prove them wrong and prove the fact that it's not the story, it is the fact that it's about girls. And I'm pretty sure it is because I'm so invested in their story already and they're only babies. So I can only imagine how much more fun things are going to get as they get older. That's basically all I can think of right now. It's raining. We are all packing. You could probably see my parents behind me in the window running around like fucking crazy animals. I think about yesterday, I resigned to the idea of reading 4 books. Actually, I don't know. Am I saying that right? I resigned to the idea of. I resigned. I put away. I quit. So the main takeaway I think for me is probably pack less. Just pack more fun. Like, just have more fun. Have more fun. Pack funner books. Have more fun reading them. Relax with the challenges. Yeah, at the end of the day, reading is a fun hobby. It's meant for pleasure. I'm using my failure and I'm spinning it around into just something to remind you all watching that reading goals, there's no one forcing you to do this but yourself. And giving up is sometimes cathartic. Yeah. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. Hope you felt immersed in my tropical family vacation. Kind of sad it's all coming to an end. And I guess I'll see you next year. Bye.